Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Genealogy Garage. I am Julie Huffman, the genealogy librarian at the Los Angeles Public Library. Welcome. Genealogy Garage is our monthly program where we talk about different aspects of genealogy. We usually meet the third Saturday of each month, except for August and December. Next September, so we're skipping next month, but in September, we're going to have our friend John Schmal back to kick in the Los Angeles Public Library's celebration of Hispanic culture called LA Libros. He is going to talk all about searching for our pre-1848 Mexican and indigenous ancestors here in California. So if that sounds interesting to you, please join us the third week in September. And if you ever want to find out what kinds of genealogy programs we have going on, either at Central Library or at our branches, all you need to do is go to our online calendar. And here's a direct link to it. But if you go to our website and look for the events section, you'll see this calendar link and just type genealogy as your keyword, and all the stuff that we have going on will pop up. Also, if there's anything you've been interested in hearing about or learning about, just send me an email. You can see my email address right here. There we go. There. So send me an email. If you want to join my email list, send me an email. I send out a very short email once a month to tell you what's coming up. So if you want to get on that list, let me know. For today's session, you're going to see a link to the handout in the description of the event on the YouTube page. You might have to click the little See More link, but then you'll find a Google Doc there, and that's today's handout. If you have any trouble downloading that, send me an email and I'll send it to you after the presentation. This session is being recorded and it's going to be available to watch after the fact. We have to get it closed captioned, but then it will be available via the same link you used today to find it. So don't worry about taking too many notes. Just know you can go back and watch the recording, pause it, take good notes, try things out. You don't have to rush around today trying to do everything. But I just want to give you a heads up, it will be recorded. Please type any questions you might have as they come up in the comments box of the YouTube page. And at the end of the session, I will ask Daniel, or if it seems, well, I'll probably wait till the end. But if it does seem like it's urgent, I'll maybe cut in and ask him during his presentation. But I think we're going to wait to the end. But as you're thinking of them, go ahead and put them in the chat window. So I think that's all the hullabaloo. Today, we are pleased to have an expert from MyHeritage Library Edition here today to tell us all about that database. And I would just want to let you know, this is a really new database for the Los Angeles Public Library to subscribe to. And so we started subscribing to it about 6 months ago. And what that means is that if you have one of our library cards, you can access MyHeritage from home. And Daniel will go into that a little bit in his presentation. But I just want to welcome you, Daniel. You are coming to us from Israel, I understand, today.
Hi, Julie, and good morning, Los Angeles, and everybody else and around the world who is watching this, either through YouTube or recorded. Yes, for me, it's 9 p.m., 9 o'clock at night, but I am a night owl, and I'm very used to work with the U.S. time zones. So always a pleasure to be able to be here with you and with everybody and letting you know not only how to use the MyHeritage tools, but also what's new.
Fantastic. Well, let's get started, and I'll wait until the end to ask you questions if that's okay, unless you want me to ask you as you're going along.
No, I think that will be perfect.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I'm going to start like from the very, very beginning, just assuming that in the audience, we may have people that don't know about MyHeritage, which is a company founded in 2003. So we are not new around here, but definitely always with the idea to help you connect your past, your present, and your future. Today, we are going to talk about the records and the search engine, but MyHeritage actually started as a platform to build family trees that actually worked also with a software, the Family Tree Builder, that you can download for free still today, and you can use it both on your Mac and your Windows computer. It will synchronize with the website, and the website is probably the most used of those platforms. We have also a mobile application, and all in all, we have 88 million family trees. We also have this 18.2 billion historical records, and that's billion with the B. And pretty sure that if you are watching this as a recording, that number already changed, because we are releasing more and new historical records almost on a weekly basis. MyHeritage also deals with DNA for genealogy. We have 5.8 million DNA kits in our database, all of them being allocated into different ethnicities and genetic groups, but also more important, getting matches between themselves, and everything supported and available in 42 languages, meaning that people around the world are actually using MyHeritage in their own language. Now, in our lecture today, or for our purposes here today, this is very important because I'm pretty sure you may not know, I'm not going to say all, but at least a few of those languages. And you will find records that are in those languages. So MyHeritage has a very good technology to help you deal with those languages that you don't manage. Now, many other companies or organizations are out there. Definitely, the amount of languages and the issue, or the benefit that we are serving people around the world is one of our strengths. Also, the superior technology, and I will show you a few of those technologies applied to your search. We try to be friendly and approachable, but if we are not doing a good job over there, please make sure you let us know. And most relevant for today's lecture is the exclusive databases that MyHeritage has. And no, do not ask me which ones are those, because I don't know them by heart. But I can tell you that MyHeritage is working with libraries and archive around the world. I can just remember, yes, Australia, uh, German, and the Norwegian collections that we have digitized and transcribed ourselves, and work hand in hand with the archive to make that information available. So regarding the technology, well, today we are going to see what we called our search engine in action. A very innovative online research system that will allow you search and find your relative in an easy and efficient way, with some unique features that I will show you during my presentation. But first of all, of course, where do I find this search engine? And Julie already gave a little bit of secrets here. She said right in the website of the library, and I'm pretty sure you know already this URL by heart, right? So this week, at least, when you go there, you will find the website where all the activities and everything going around the library is reflected over there. If you scroll a little bit down here, you will find a section called research. And that is what I learned yesterday. And I just checked because Julie said that the MyHeritage library, although is right there listed at the beginning, it may not always be. And that's fine with me. So I clicked on the research button and I got to this huge list of repositories and tools and places that you have available to do your research. Now, remember, MyHeritage starts with an M, so the easiest way will be just to click on the letter M, and the website jumps automatically to the letter M, the list over there starting with an M, and you will need to scroll down because MyHeritage is actually the last one, MY. And whenever you click on the link, you will be asked for your credentials. But this is very important because you don't need to be at the library in order to access this search engine. Some of those resources, some of the other databases that I know, they are only available from the computers at the library. You need to go there. Nothing against that. You're more than welcome to visit the library. But if you ask me, my best time to do research is after 10 p.m. I don't know, the library will be open at night. So MyHeritage understands that and allows you to have access to this 24/7 from your home. You will need, as I said already, to place your LAPL card number over there and enter your PIN, your 4-digit phone number, or whatever you have set up for gaining access and knowing that you are yourself. But let me share with you here a secret. Shh, don't tell Julie that. I actually found a URL that will get you straight to this page. Now, if you already have placed your credentials over there and the computer remember that, probably you will not need to fill it again. And then the website is going to go straight to the selection of the resource where you will need to click on MyHeritage. But if not, if you want to have this URL handy, you can just copy it over there. I'm pretty sure it will be on the comments as well. And that is a secret between you and me. Don't tell anybody about it. So when you go there, when you're already certified and checked that you have this library card, you will see a very clear button that will show you the MyHeritage Library Edition, and that will bring you to the search form. Now we are in the MyHeritage search engine. Now you have the 18.2 billion historical records at your service. But before we start searching right there, let me give you another secret, because if you scroll down a little bit, you will find a global map. And in here, you will be able to select any continent, or if you want, if you select the United States or Canada, you will then find a selection of states, or in Canada, they call it, sorry for that, Canadians, friends, the word just escaped my mind. But it's not regions, I know. But in here, the idea is for you to select, as I said, either a country or a state in the US, or a specific region in the UK or in Canada. And what that will do is that it will focus your search in that region. Okay. So if I'm, for example, I am researching my family. My family came from the Romania, Ukraine area. Okay, so I will click over there in Romania and I will perform a search and I will get all the records related to that area. Let's go back to the top because I'm going to do the probably most done task on the genealogy research. I'm going to type a first name and a last name. Okay, that's all what I have about my guy. And I'm going to click the search button. And guess what? Well, I'm pretty sure we all know. We are going to get the results. Okay, and these are the records that MyHeritage found that matched my first and last name that I am searching. And then, of course, if I click on the area or the name of the person over there, I will be able to see the record, right? Ta-da! Well, not rocket science, and I'm pretty sure you have done this many, many times. Not always work, I have to say. Well, I mean, it doesn't not always work finding your relative. It will be a little bit more complicated than just as I did it. So that is why I want to go now a few steps back and I want to go in detail on every step of the way and the possibilities that you have when searching for your ancestors. First of all, it's very clear from this page that MyHeritage has different type of records. You can see that we have divided the records into categories and those categories into subcategories, and then you can find even specific collections where you can search. And what we have done is that we have created some flexible forms in order for you to be able to type the information that you need, depending on what you know and what the records has. So my suggestion is always to click on advanced search and see all the fields that we let you fill. It's not just first name and last name. Believe me, there are many John Smiths out there. So if you want to find your relative, you will need to be a little bit more specific. And then, depending on the type of record, we are going to customize that form for you. If I am looking, for example, into the census and voters list, you will not find death information because people had to be alive in order to be recorded over there. If you are going to talk about immigration and travels, same thing. If you are going to search for directories, guides, and reference books, well, no birth, no marriage, no death details over there. It's not about that. It's about the date and the publication and the name. So for every collection and for every category, MyHeritage will show you the most relevant fields for that collection. Now, you will be able also to search by multiple events and relationships. So I can find somebody that was born on, married on, and death on, date and place, and that will focus my research or the results into more specific of the people that I am looking for. You can add as many events as you want, and you can type either partial dates or full dates, is up to you. And you can decide also the place to be or not to be taken into consideration. Another option that MyHeritage gives you is the option to search for different relatives. If you're John Smith, or even better, if you don't know the person that you're looking for, but you know that you're looking for the son of Mary Stewart, and Stewart could be the maiden name. And I don't know her married name or the last name of the guy that I'm looking, but I do know that he or she has a sibling called James. that will be enough in order to find your guy. So other close by relatives are also used in to your advantage. Now, if we go back to the basics, the last name, we know that there are some technologies that will take into consideration and will transform the last name into codes that will bring more results or better results. Well, not all of them works as we want. For example, in my own case, Horowitz, Horowitz, when you actually convert that into Soundex, it's H with the number. And the problem is that I will be missing all my cousins from Ukraine and Russia that they don't have an H, and their last name starts with a G. Okay, that is why you don't really need to know how this works, but you need to know that you have the possibility to apply any or all of them while you do your research. And each one will take a different approach on how the name sounds and it's pronounced. Now, this technology also it's applied for the first name, at least on MyHeritage. And we take into account not only spelling, also spelling mistakes, but also synonyms. And even if you want just us to take into account the first letter as an initial, okay, we will be able to take that. Or if you want, for example, John with an H and John without an H, or Robert and Bob, if you want us to bring you results of both of them. Here, it will be probably good to give you my advice whenever I'm starting, not just with MyHeritage, but with any search engine. I try always to start with the exact spelling as I write it down. Then, as I am not finding the people that I'm looking for, I start going into the more open and more wider options with the spellings and synonyms and sounds like and all that technology. Now, also, MyHeritage supports partial dates. So you may only know a day in a month, or you only know a year. Or what if you are not sure about the year when the event actually happened? Well, you can just say, well, take that year exact, or let's be more flexible and let's add 2 years more or less, meaning 2 years up and 2 years down that year that I'm using in the search engine. And that will expand again the results that you are getting and more chances to find your relative. Even if you know the exact date, remember that probably the record was not recorded or somebody made a mistake and the actual date in the record doesn't match the reality. And finally, you have a free text area where you can put any keywords, anything that it will be relevant to find your person. If it was the president of I don't know what, if he was in the I don't know Titanic, maybe. Well, that would be a little bit famous, yes. But any keyword that you would like to use, it will help in order to bring you better results. And with all that information that you are giving MyHeritage, we are going to rank the results with those stars. And of course, the sort will be according to that. So the top one will be the most relevant for you. And as you scroll down, same as it will happen with Google and any other search engine, when you go down, chances are that they match less all the criteria and the person you are looking for. I don't know how many pages you go in Google, but probably after the second or third in this case, it's time to go back and to narrow your search. One of the ways of doing that is by selecting a category, a subcategory, or a collection, because right now the default gave me everything, but I can go and I can focus on a specific one. And I will suggest you to go with the one that has the least amount of results. It's just going to be easier to go over them and know if your relative is there or not. If you need to go over those 10,000 birth, marriage, or death records, it's going to take you quite a long time. Now, below that area, you are able to refine your search also, not only by the first names or last names appearing in the different records, but also by the birth years and places, or even the parents' names. And this only means that although I was looking for a Frank, together with that Frank, I have 59 records mentioning David. David could be Frank's father, son, sibling, I don't know. Okay. But if I know and I recognize that David is related to my Frank somehow, maybe it's good to use that filter and to be able to see only those 59 results and see if I can find my guy over there. Now, if not, and if you have tried everything, well, as I said before, it's probably time to go back in order to add or edit the details of your research. And I'm sure, actually, I'm lying. You don't need to go back. You just need to go top. Because without leaving this page, you will see right on the top of the page the button Edit Search. And this will allow you to change the spelling of any name, to change the year, or to add even more criteria and more fields to your search. So in here, for example, I am missing a place. And although I know that Frank was actually in California, let's say, I do know that he also spent some time and actually died in Florida. So I'm going to use Florida as the place, and I'm going to see if I can find him right there in Florida among the records out there. So without leaving the results page, I just can click the search button again and reload results, new results in order to evaluate. And in order to do that, I will need to open the record. And whenever you click there, you should open the records in a new tab. Just in case it doesn't work, I will suggest you to click with the right click on your Windows computer at least and open that record in a new tab. But again, technology should work as we coded. And then you will be able to see a description or the information that we have indexed from that person. You will be able to see all what we know from the record and also the metadata from the record. In this case, this is a census. So we know the year, we know the place, we also know the township, the series, the sheet, the image, and everything else. Talking about image, if I scroll down, I will be able to get to the image. Just because we genealogists, we need to see it to believe it, right? Yeah, I know the feeling. I am there with you. And in here, you can either zoom in and be able to read what the record says, or even better, you can click on the upper right corner, and this will actually open the image in a full screen view. You will be able to see on the left side the list of the names and the lines where they appear, and you can just hide or not that panel in order to see that image bigger. On the top of the image, you have the zoom buttons, although I use my mouse wheel and that will zoom in and out. But even probably more important than that is the pagination that you are going to find, because your family may be in the first line or the last line or even in the middle, doesn't matter. Maybe other family members living close by are listed, in this case, in the census. So it's always good to go a few pages back, a few pages forward, and make sure that you're not missing any relatives. You will be able also from here to print and to download this record and this image. Okay. And this is actually a very important action for all of you who are building your family tree. And I'm going to tell you why by the end of the presentation. Let's go back now and exit this full screen view with the button on the right. And it will bring me to the image as I had it before, but I'm going to click and keep down, scrolling down, and I will be able to see the source citation for the record, and I'm able to copy that and to use it into my research without any problem. But while I was looking at this record and evaluating and getting all excited with the information that I'm learning from my family, MyHeritage took technology and just went over the search engine and brought me other records or other family trees that have not only the person that I search, but every person mentioned in that record that are related to the record and to me. So from here, I can just jump into somebody else's record and evaluate and download it. And from there, I go to the next one and to the next one and to the next one. And that is why we spend so much time in front of our computers. Now, remember I mentioned languages, right? And I have been in California. I know over there everybody speaks Spanish and English. Yes, yes, I know. But what about other languages? Greek, Hebrew, maybe Russian, Ukrainian. Well, I have to admit, I don't manage all of them. I can barely do with my English and Spanish and a little bit of Hebrew as well. But it's not only knowing the language, it's the ability to read and to write in those languages. And the global name translation, what it does is translating the names that you're using in the search engine into all those languages and finding records that may be in a different language, that it's not Latin characters, because German, Polish, French, all those are more or less the same dictionaries. And I'm, of course, not talking about accent characters or the umlauts or all the special characters. It's more or less the same. But that is not all, because we also have a huge amount of dictionaries that will help you finding your person. In my case, I have a cousin named Alexander. That is his full name. But of course, nobody calls him like that. Everybody calls him Alex. And what I normally do when we are in person, I will ask people if I should search for Alexander or Alex. And I have three types of people here. I have the people saying Alexander, and I'm pretty sure I have a few in the audience today. I have a very few saying Alex, because Alex is the AKA, or the nickname that we have for him. Probably he will not appear like that on the records. But I have a third group saying, well, you need to use both. And for all of you, I have bad news, because even both are not enough. You don't trust me? Well, this is an example of all the different spelling variations that MyHeritage use in order to search for Alex or Alexander. And of course, that Alejandro in Spanish, or Alex, or Alexander, or Alexander with double X, Z, S, you name it, we have it there, including also other languages like Russian, Ukrainian, and Hebrew right at the bottom. So imagine that for every name that you can think about, we have this huge repository that takes also information from family trees or typos that you normally do whenever you are typing a name. So how will you remember all that? How would you know to search for all those? Well, that's the beauty. You don't need to. Because when you are searching in your language, and I'm just going to guess it's English, okay? Or español también funcionaría. You're going to write the name Alex or Alexander over there. In my case, MyHeritage actually found him in Ukraine. Remember, I said my family is from around there? Well, there he is, but the records, as expected, there are in Ukrainian. I don't read Ukrainian. I have no idea what Cyrillic looks like. Well, I know how it looks like. I don't know how to read it. So MyHeritage back translate the names on the records so I will know more or less which ones are the ones who are relevant to my search. Now, no, MyHeritage will not translate all the record. You will need to go in, ask for help, or use Google Translate or other tools in order to translate the full record. Okay, this is just something done behind the scenes and in order to help you find your person. Now, definitely every genealogist's dream is finding their family in the newspapers, because this is not just the bare facts. This is complete stories about our relatives. And MyHeritage has a long list of newspapers that you can search from all over the world. Something to consider here is the publication date and apply more or less the year's difference, just to make sure that you catch the event over there. Another option is the place. And just remember that although somebody was born in New York, it doesn't mean that in California, I will not find a newspaper talking about my relative. As many genealogists, I actually searched for myself, and I found a couple of good results on the newspaper collection. And it doesn't matter if it's first name or last name and first name, even if I have other letters in the middle between my first and my last name, we will be able to filter and to bring you relevant matches. Now here, also the filter by publication on the left side, it is very useful because I can put a place in order to identify where the newspaper is from, but I will need to be more specific and look here by the publication title. If I want to find my people, for example, in the Pittsburgh Express, or the Pittsburgh Press, I'm sorry, is where this newspaper is. We also have a collection of books, and if you have been at the Los Angeles Public Library, you will know how a big library full of books looks like. So imagine that you will be able to search and to have relevant books at your hand and are your service doing this search. Why I'm saying relevant books? Well, because human beings actually curated and filtered that collection, making sure that the books that we use over there are relevant, are not simply statistic books or books that has nothing to do with list of names and families. Now, I do know many of you have what it's called a home edition or a personal edition of the MyHeritage account. And there are some difference between the library edition and the one that you have access with your login. I'm not going to say actually home, because from home you can get the two versions. You could get your personal version, and you can get the library edition. I need to change the title over there. For example, and the first notice that you will let you know if you are in the personal edition or not is the top menu. You see that here I have a home, I have a family tree, discoveries, photos, DNA. I am identifying myself with my name. Well, that is something that you will not see on the library edition because you're using a master account. Another thing you will not find is the collection catalog, because you don't have actually a way to access the collection catalog because the menu is not there. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot open your personalized account on MyHeritage, look into the collection catalog, sorted either by the number of records or the last update, and this will be a way to know what was recently released and the latest collections that MyHeritage has. You can even look for a specific category here, let's say birth, marriage, and death, and you will be able to find collections by the name of the collection. And if I will write, for example, baptism over there, I will see not only all the collections that has the word baptism in the subject, also if the name is on the description. Now, once you have identified the collection that you want to view, then you can go into the library edition. You can look for that specific collection that you didn't knew it was there, and search and get the records from the library for free. Another thing you will not find in the library edition is a collection called Search Connect, because this collection, first of all, is a collection of searches that other people that logged into MyHeritage, that we know their names and their last names and their searches, they did. And we can tell you that this person actually was looking for the same non-common use and given name and surname. Okay. We're not saving all the John Smith searches out there, but because you are not able to connect with this other person, you cannot contact them because this is, again, your personal account, not the library account. Under the library account, you will not find those records. And finally, this is a view of a record under my person account. And here you will have the option to save this record together to your family tree and extract and copy all the information. That is also something you cannot do with the library edition. So what do? I go to the library edition, I find the record, I download the record, and then I will go and extract that information and copy that information manually to my family tree. You will notice that at the bottom of my screen, I have a way also to put some comments on the records. Again, because you are not being identified as the person that is searching, okay, you're kind of anonymous under the library account, you will not be able to post any comments. Well, and with this, and I think just on time more or less, um, I will have to thank you all for your interest. I really hope that I managed to show you and to teach you a little bit of the tricks of the search engine in order to be able to get more on your library subscription and use the MyHeritage search engine to find your family. I will be more than happy to answer your questions, but just in case, if you're watching this as a recording, I'm leaving you over there with the URL of their help section where you will be able to type any questions and hopefully find the answers.
Are you ready to take some questions now, Daniel, or were you going to look for that?
Whenever you want,
Okay.
Julie, I'm here.
Here's one. H. Islas is asking what process MyHeritage uses to obtain the historical documents that it presents.
Okay. Yeah, fair question. And we actually do a few things. If the record has already been digitized and transcribed, and some archives, I will not include churches here, but some archives already did that progress. We get an agreement with them, and we simply get the records, the transcription from the records that they did, and we load them into our search engine and we make it searchable. And then depending on the agreement, if we get the images or we just get the index and we point you to the image that the archives has. But always, even if we already have the image as well, we will tell you which archive or which repository gave us those records. Sometimes the churches or the archive, they only have images. And here I will make kind of a mix between after the digitization process, and some have done it, or they just come to us with the books and said, well, here are our records, go ahead. Then we need to digitize the pages and send them for people to key and to transcribe the names and the information that we want to transcribe. And not always we transcribe all, because those records could be quite long. The idea will be to transcribe enough fields that you can search and make sure that this is actually your guy. So not only first names and last names, but also dates, places, and other relative mention. Everything like that is actually recorded, gender and others. And that is another way how we make those records available.
That reminds me of a question, Daniel. When you were showing the U.S. federal census as an example, has MyHeritage transcribed those censuses themselves, or are you using like family searches transcriptions or ancestry's transcriptions?
Okay. Yeah. Very good question. And the answer is actually depends. 1940, for example, that was the previous census that was released. We did it ourselves. In the 1950 census, the last one just a few months ago released, we are working with a consortium of different organizations together in order to supposedly make that faster and easier for everybody. Previous censuses, we both acquire the index, and even that we had that already transcribed, we always try to implement a little bit of our technology to make sure that the names are correct, and to see if we can extract more information. For example, some of the records of the censuses, they mention the first name of the person, or the last name and the first name of the household person, but not the other relative. So we took the last name from the head, and we associated to the other people. So when you're looking for Mary, you will find the Mary that you're looking for associated to that last name. Okay, it really depends on how the collection is and what are the possibilities that our technology can improve.
Yeah, well, and that's the reason I ask that is sometimes I do go back and forth between the Ancestry.com transcribed censuses and the Family Search transcribed censuses because different people see different things differently and might have typed it with a typo in one of the two or whatever. But now I can add MyHeritage to the list of places to go also to see if there might be a difference between some of the
Yeah.
transcription
and
perception.
and I have heard also of people not finding the relative in one, but finding in the other one. Okay, and you can think like, wait, it's the same census. How come? Well, it depends again in the technology, in the original transcription, in the soundex type of technology used to find that name that you're actually typing.
We've got another question here from RA or Ra, wondering about your records maybe as they relate to maybe American slavery. That's not specified here, but possibly American slavery.
Well, I am definitely not an expert on this subject. It's my understanding that a lot of the slaves, okay, first of all, let's go back. Slave were not addressed by name. Sometimes or later in the years, they do got a first name and they are listed by the first names, and some of them after the Civil War and whenever they got their liberty, they adopted the name of their masters or the people that liberated them. But like bottom line regarding the search engine and regarding the records, whatever name you know is the name that we will see in the records, and the name that if you search for, we will bring you the records relevant to that.
I have a couple questions from Linda. The first one was she noticed when you started your launch into MyHeritage that your page said super search on the screen. But when we go in through the library, it starts by saying search all historical records, and we wonder, is there any difference?
Yes, Linda, you are totally right, and you got a golden star because some of the screenshots that I use are a little bit old, and you got me. It's not called Super Search anymore. Okay, it's called Search Engine. That is the only thing. Everything else, all the technology is the same. I'm just a little bit lazy on updating every time all the screen captures and updated. Actually, if you paid attention, you will notice also. And yes, you can later on see the recording and go back. You will notice that my number says 9 million records. It's half of what MyHeritage has. Okay. So, yeah, that screenshot is a little bit old. Sorry for that.
She also wanted to kind of clarify some of the stuff you were saying with regards to the library edition and maybe the personal edition. So here is a question from her.
Okay, the library edition has access to the 18.2 billion historical records. You will see also information from the MyHeritage family trees, and that is part of the collection. Also, Genie and Family Search, and also birth, marriage records, and all the type of records per se. Probably a clarification, although for the library edition is not that critical. Genie, Family Search, Wikipedia, and I'm sorry, not Wikipedia, Wikitree, and Philae, they have family trees, but MyHeritage treats them as records. Now, the MyHeritage Family Tree collection will be accessible also to you over there without any problem. You will not be able to contact the admin of that family tree. Bear that in mind whenever you are searching from the library edition. And question number two, can you download the record and access the information manually to our tree? Yes, definitely you can download the image. You will still be able to copy and paste, let's say, or fact by fact, or you can copy the whole citation or the whole OCR whenever we are doing OCR to the newspaper's print, for example, and paste it into your family tree wherever you have it. The personal account has the benefit that with just one click of a button, you can just copy everything into your tree whenever your tree is on MyHeritage, and that is definitely an advantage and a benefit. But if not, you still can do that manually without any problem. Yes, so I am seeing the next question. Do I have to be a member of MyHeritage to place my family tree in your database? Yes, but the good news is that you can have a free account on MyHeritage, no credit card required even, and you can have it for free forever. There is a limitation. The limitation is 250 individuals in your family tree whenever you are typing their names. But here is my secret. If you already have a family tree someplace else, you're able to import what is called the JETCOM. And JETCOM is the standard format to move family trees from one place to the other. And why I say this is a secret, because it doesn't matter the size of your JETCOM, it will go up. I have seen JETCOMs from 50,000 individuals going up and being on a free account. What is the problem there? Well, you will not be able to edit the information or to add more details or more people to your tree. You will be able to delete people or information, or eventually the whole tree if that is your desire. But you can just upload a family tree or create a family tree from scratch. You will need a registration. It could be a free registration without any problem.
And kind of along those lines, I'm guessing if you got a DNA test from MyHeritage, you would not be able to access that information or any kind of DNA information on the library edition.
Okay, yes, you're totally correct. If you have a personal account, if you have your tree or your DNA already on MyHeritage, nothing is going to appear on the library edition. Okay, imagine like having two separate tabs or two separate browsers open. In one, you will have the library edition and access to the records. In the other one, you will have your personal account, and they will not go from one to the other. They will not mix.
I think that is it for the questions. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and jot them in the box. I wanted to give a quick plug. If to get a Los Angeles Public Library library card, you have to be a California citizen, but you can be from San Francisco, San Diego, anywhere in California, but you do have to be at one of our libraries in person to get one of our cards. Now, if you're from some faraway spot like Israel, for instance, the Southern California Genealogical Society, which is our friend and co-sponsor, along with the Genealogical Society of Hispanic America, the Southern California Genealogical Society in Burbank, they also have a remote option to access MyHeritage. You just have to become a member with them, and I believe it's something like $40 a year, but they have a lot of great resources you can access from home. So if you're not in California, check out the Southern California Genealogical Society website too, and then you can also access MyHeritage from home.
Definitely a good choice.
Okay, Daniel, I think that is it for questions. And I just wanted to thank you so much for spending your evening with us. We're getting ready to go to the beach, but you're getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah. So. I was at the beach already while you were sleeping, huh?
I see. I see. Well, thanks so much. And I hope we can see you again soon. I catch you on some of the email chains that we're on together. But I wanted to thank you for spending your time so generously with us today.
With pleasure, Julie. Always, whenever you need.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.